ICA revises, or ICAG revises the format every 5 years. So every 5 syllabic year. So in 2024 November, then this format came out. So by the end of 2029, let's say July 2029, which is exactly 5 years, I mean, per the diet structure, right? This syllabus will end. And then they will generate a new syllabus from November 2029 to another 5 years. Okay. So mostly, ICA doesn't give, let me say, people would say there are no, what's the name? There are no leakage or pause or areas, but these are the areas which ICA provides. Okay. So I would just want us to go through them, and we should know the approach or how the questions are set, the strategies, the techniques, and then that will help us prepare adequately. That's basically, and we compare it to some past questions. That's basically what I would want us to see. For me, I usually use this format when it's 1 month to exams. I usually use formats when it's a month to exam because that's when I structure areas I know might be quite difficult, areas might need more attention, areas I need to concentrate more in terms of studies, areas I may not consider. Because if I realize the theories are something I can write, no matter how the questions are set, I will not read on the theories regarding that very question. But then concentrate on areas of challenge, areas I feel need more attention. So let us, question 1 of the ICA past question will be on this, will be on consolidation. And the whole mark is 20. So the consolidation, the first question we ask ourselves is, in what areas, or for consolidation question 1, what areas will the examiners consider in setting up any question under consolidation? So we will go with what Sir Desmond has done with us so far. We've done, let me see, I wrote some here. Okay. He's done basic consolidation with us. Basic consolidation. So please pay attention. At the end, you know, you take notice of where you may be falling short. Then you, spend a lot of time. We talk about how we can improve that those areas. So 1, he spoke about basic consolidation. Basic consolidation. And this is more of like the FR nature. FR. So probably there may be no question on basic consolidation because it's in FR. But, and which is basic, and we have the advanced consolidation. So advanced consolidation are 6. There are actually 6 areas. So number 1, we have complex group structure. Complex group structure, which is 1. 2, we have mixed groups. So consolidation for a mixed group. Number 3, we have step acquisition. Step acquisition. Another step acquisition, we have the non-control to control. And we have the control to control. Then 4, when there is a change in group structure, let's say it's also another step acquisition, but let me put here, changes in group structure. Okay, that's on disposals. So disposal, we can talk about disposals here. We can talk about partial control. We can talk about entire control. Are you getting it? Then number 5, we have the foreign operations or foreign subsidiary. Foreign operations or subsidiary. Then number 6, the last one, we have cash flow consolidation. Okay, so for the question 1, which is the 20, the areas, the questions or the areas from which the question one could come from or emerge from are under the C's. So we will have to find out, or from each of us, we have to find out of these 6 areas, where do you think you have challenges with? Because we don't know which, for the basic consolidation, which is the FR, they will not ask a question. They will rather ask question on any of the remaining six. So of the six we've done so far, where do you have challenges with? Where do you think you have issues with? Are you getting it? So assuming I have a challenge with foreign, how to compute a foreign subsidiary or foreign operations, maybe I'm okay with complex group. It will not balance because of the time. But then how to make the treatment, the texts are what you are going for. And it's 20 marks. So whichever one they bring is 20 marks they're going to have, right? So you have to ask yourself 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or you have to ask yourself, which one do I have challenges with? That if the question should cover, right, I will struggle, I may not be able to answer. So if you get to know that it is complex group structure, what you have to do is go back to, you can choose to play the video or go back to the exam past questions he solved under complex group structure and resolve it following the steps, memorize the steps so that you can remember the steps to do it. It will not balance, or it may not balance because sometimes you can treat multiple additional information or footnote items, but then you meet one footnote item and that'll be the accident you would have during solving the question, right? But that doesn't prevent you the candidate from answering the question. So if it is complex group structure, you have to go back to the question which he solved and try to solve it. Solve it multiple times for you to get the concepts. Okay. If it is mixed group, then we have to go back and you should identify your challenge areas. Someone may be able to solve, or probably he has forgotten, or he's not so sure about cash flow. Cash flow was in March 2025. I was checking the past question. March 2025, it was cash flow. I get it. It was cash flow. So we have to know these are the 6 areas we'll set the question from under question 1. Mixed group, complex group structure, mixed group, step acquisition, which is control to non-control. If the step acquisition is an issue, we have to know, in changing from control to non-control, what are the things which would will change. Are you getting it? Then there are slight differences. So I'm trying to write some small notes down. When I finish, I'll see whether we'll have another class. Just the differences. What makes this different? What makes it different? What makes them different from each other? That's all. Then that's a strategy we'll adopt. So when I go in mixed group structure, I know the areas which will change when I'm preparing the statement. Where will they change? How do I memorize them and get it quickly? All right. So I'm just trying to write them down. So for the question 1, 20 marks. And the 20 marks will be made from one of the C's. 1, complex group, mixed group, step acquisition, disposals. Right. And then 5, foreign operations or subsidiaries. Then 6, cash flow statement, consolidation. So if you know you have any challenge with any of them, you have to sit back and rehearse it. He had the solutions, or he shared the solutions with us. Our part will be to sit down, take the same question, look at the way he approached the question. That's all. Because all the questions they are solving with us, they are past questions. Some they tell us where they got them from, others they don't, but most of them are past questions. So by resolving what they solved with us, right, we are solving past questions. That is 1. And 2, we are trying to adopt strategies to approach it or approach the questions. Are we okay here?
Yes, please.
Okay, that's fine. So it's 20 marks. You can estimate, those questions, 20 marks. I'm estimating that question I'll get 10 out of 20. We need 50 to pass. So if I estimate 10 out of 20, then we'll be left with 40. And that also talks about speed, how you can quickly write and get it. So assuming question 1 is 20, you roughly, let me get 10 marks. 6 for 10 marks. All right. Then if I should get 10 marks out of 50, I have 40. All right, let's move to, please, if anyone has last year's question, please share with me or send it to the page. I'll upload it here. Okay, so that's question 1 for us, 20 marks. Okay. Question 2. So I'm having last year's question on my laptop. It's not on my tablet. I'm using the tablet. So if you have the question, please share it to the group. I would upload it here. So please, let's pay attention here. He said that the level 3 standards, okay, level 3 standards are this. This is level 3. This is level 3. This is level 3. There are 6. This is level 3. Are they 6 or 7? This is level 3. This is level 3. This is level 3. So 1, there are 2, 4, 6, 7. I think he has not done one with us, right? But all the others are level 3. Now, last year, I was going through the last year question. Please pay attention. And he said that this level 3, they will try us on all the 6 or 7. So we have to go back. Sometimes you pick a past question and the way they solve it, you get so confused. So better still, just go with the examples he solved with that, because the examples are all past questions. And just follow the way he solved it, adopt the strategy, and try to write quickly. The speed is very necessary. Now, these level 3 standards, they are compulsory, right, for testing, right, against the students. So in other words, students are subject to be tested around these 6 or 7 level 3 standards. All right. All the others are level 2 standards. Last night, when I checked, they tested students on this IFRS 2, share-based payment, and they tested students on this last night. Right. Then they tested students on this. 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 Insurance contract. Right. And then IFRS, that's sustainability, the National Financial Reporting Standard, sustainability 1, sustainability 2. They test students on them. So, and this question 2, right? This question 2, this is A. This is from the Magderoy is A. The A here aligns with the structure in their ICA manual. So when I pick ICA manual and I check for A, it tells me all the chapters under A. And I think the chapters are from chapters 9 to something, 9 to 32 also. They are all standards. 9 to 32 or 31, they are all standards, inclusive of the FR level 2 standard. So for my computation, the standards in total, the whole 5 set of questions, the standards in total take 35% out of the 100%. It takes 35. So question 2 is fully 20%. And another portion, they have 10%. Another portion, they have 5%. So altogether takes 35. And this 35, if I'm to study assuming we are to study the standards very well, we can go for 20 from all, let's say all the 35. Question 2 takes 20. Then question 3A has 10 standards. Question 4A has 5 standards. So, 35%. So we could say that, okay, 20, out of the 35, we can aim for, let's say, 20. So this 20 plus the 10 in question 1 gives us 30. We are left with about 20 to pass. That is if I've actually, study the standards, right? I solve questions. You are not to get everything correct, just the approach. Of all the 35 marks for 35% for standards, right? We can estimate that if I study the standards so well, solve some questions on my own, right? Let me estimate 20% for myself for all the 35 questions, 35% of questions which borders on standards. I agree. So, like he Desmond said, the level 3 standards will compulsorily be tested by the examiners for the students. But the other ones, there are no level 3, they are all FR2 standards. And when I check last year's question, apart from these two, most of them were like FR2 standards. FR standards, like IAS, revenue for contract with customers, provisions. This question, they asked it twice. IS 37 last night, right? Revenue from contract with customers and a whole lot of standard. This IFRS 15. They asked it twice. They asked it in July 2025, and they repeated it in November 2025. Yeah, the IFRS 15. So we should know this is carrying 20 marks. And as I said, all others, all other standard sets, right? In the different questions, they are totaling 15 plus this 20, making 35. So with the 35%, if we study the standard so well, if you're having difficulty, let's have his solution, how we solved it. Then we follow how we solve the standard. Then we just solve it the same way as he did it. The same question, solve it. That's okay. Because in exams, you are not to balance, you are not to get 100%. It's the approach, the formulas, the approach, then they fed the marks. Are you good? So that is it here. So 1, 19, 2, 13, 24, 8, 34 and 1. They are all the level 3 standard. And he says we should study all this. He has done all with us. So we should study all these because we can be tested on all of them because they are all strictly level 3 standard. Then other standards like the borrowing course and the grant and the others, we can add them to what you are learning. Are we okay? Hello, are we okay? Hello.
Hello, please, we understand. For me, I understand.
Okay, that's fine. So let's move on. Now, this is question 3. As I said, the sum of the standards are spread, right, across other questions. So this is A. These are those standards. If you check the past questions, question 3A, it's 10 marks. It's based on standards. So FR standards here. So with the 20 in question 2 plus the 3A, 10, it gives us 30. And there is, when we go to question 4, there's another section for standards, 5 marks, making it 35. So it means that if I'm able to master the standards very well, out of the 35, I should be scoring about 20. That should be my estimate. That's across all the 35, total 35% marks. I agree. So the question 3A, they will also bring another question which is full of standards, 10, application. It could be theory, it could be how you can use the standard, like explain the standard. Another thing, if it's a theory question, right, like the requirements is like explain or whatever, right, this standard, how we can use this standard to resolve this issue. Please, if you know the calculation, do the calculation. I remember when I was writing FR, there was a question they asked, and from what the examiner asked, it was a narration, and trying to write would take time. So all that I tried to do was to do T accounts. I did T accounts, and I was doing I was balancing it, making entries and balancing it. Then after that, I wrote a short note under it because they're also accountants. So I was in haste, and if I should write, maybe it might take time. I'll cancel. So I just did T account for. There were 3 accounts, so I did T account for 3, and I was making my entries into the account. And after that, I wrote my comment below, and I think it was 6 marks or so. 6 marks. Right? So I made comment and I wrote some short note because I was in haste. And when it came, it was just a one time I passed. I get in it. So what I'm trying to say is that even if it's a narration, like this very question, I've seen past questions on the question 3B where you are not, it's not like calculation, but they will ask you to explain. And you can explain by calculation. That's what I want to say. So in the event we face a question like that, we can explain by doing calculation, by even writing down format. There was one, two, I think it was PSA or so. I did format. They asked the question, how should it be done? I did a format. When I wrote the format and I wrote summary, I wrote some small 3-line grammar and I left it away. Are you getting it? So please, in the event the question asks for narration, explain, and you have any idea about anything to write, it is better you write even a format down and you let go, right? So that is one of the things we should take note of. So the standards, question 2, fully are on standards. Question 3A, standard, another 10 marks, making 30. There's another one, 5, 35. Now let's look at the B. This is full of theories. So this one is theories. We can just read on them. They are all theories. So that's also 10 marks. They are all theory. That's also 10 marks. So social governance issues, including sustainability reports. Yeah. So this question to the Acts on Sustainability Reporting, IFRS S1, S2, whatever, ethical problem. So here, what we should do is, if we have access to the S&D manual on these theories, all right, we should read according to the bullet points. So for example, when I pick every that when I want to study or when I want to register for the exam, I purchase the ICA manual. I study it in addition to, so, and it becomes very more important to me when exam is approaching, because when I pick the manual, I'm going to search for this. I have the chapter, this E contains some chapters. I think there are about 3 chapters together. So when I'm reading the chapters, I'm going to search for this word, this narration from the book, right? Then when I search for this, I'll read on it. It says, discuss the background to the development of sustainability reporting and the role of the following. So task force, I'll read on it. Then when I finish, I'll check it like this, because I always print them in hard copy. I print this in hard copies. So I printed mine now. Then the global reporting initiative, I'll read on it from the manual, then I'll check it. Then I'll know what this is about, and then trying to find a way I can write in my own words. Then the last one, ISB, International Sustainability Standards Board, I'll read on it, how I should explain. It says, discuss the background to the development of sustainability reporting. So how have these organizations led or contributed to the development of the sustainability reporting? Then the last one, this. After that, all these, I have to search for the manual and read on them, because the question areas are these areas. They will never set any question on this question 3B, which will be different or far from the areas they're given in the format. So if you have the S&D slides on this, we have to read in accordance with the chosen areas or given areas, because the questions will feature, these will become the lead to the setting of the questions. Are we okay?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So please, if anyone has sent last night's paper, let me know, so that I'll go and bring it and we'll compare whether the questions they set on question 3, whether it came from any of these areas under the E. And we definitely know it came from any one of the areas or 2 or 3 of the areas under E. And the total mark was 10. That's how they set the questions. So for me, what I do is, when it's always a month to the exams, I go with format. Though I do revision, but my revision is based on the format, because that's a month of preparation for the exam. All the first and second month, they were studying and we are following up, and I'll be doing, doing revision. But when it gets to the month of exams, the main thing is format for the revision, because we've been given areas. So based on these areas, I'm going to read my notes. I'm going to solve past questions based on these areas, right? Solve the examples again, read on the areas according to this. So please, that is for question 3. Now let's move to question 4. Okay, so question 4, let's see what we have. Question 4 says, question 4.2, they are going to have 2 areas, maybe A, B. But sometimes, because this is 15, they can divide it into 2 parts. Question 4A, then we'll give like 9 marks. Question 4B, like 6 marks. Together give us 15. Then this will be 5 marks. So added to this, the 15 gives us 20. Whereas each question has total of 20 marks. So as I said earlier, the standard takes 35% of the entire 100% examination mark or score, right? And question 2 takes 20 marks fully. Question 3A takes 10 marks, making 30 of the standards. Then question 4B, they will set the question on standards, which will take 5 marks. Prepare financial statement and notes and financial notes and extracts for groups that comply with standards. So question 4, the B, will take 5 marks. Altogether gives us the 35%. So if I'm able to master my standards, solve questions, try to devise strategies to understand my work, I'm hoping that out of the 35 and praying, when they present the question, I should be able to score 20. 20 out of this, and let's say 10 for question 1, giving me 30. Then the remaining 20, whatever I'll do, let's say the question 4A is talking about the business valuation and the others, If I should get 10 marks there, I just need 50 to pass. So that's how the approach must go. All right, so let's continue. Now, here, another question 4. So we've done with the 5. We are left with the 15. The 15, the questions cover 3 areas plus theories, or 4 areas plus theories. Number 1, it says designing capital reduction scheme. So if I have issue with designing capital reduction scheme, I have to go and read both theories and calculation. Implementing a capital reduction scheme, right? That's designing and now implementing it. Then we have external reorganization. We've not yet done this. Then we have business valuation. We've done this. So 1, 2, 3, 4 plus theories, 5 under each of them, right? That will give me the 15 marks here. So if I know that of the 4, external reorganization is a problem, it's a challenge to me, and designing the scheme is a challenge to me, then I have to pay attention to the 2 which are problematic, whereas the other 2 are quite easier for me, and I know how to go about myself when if they should, feature in the exam. But for the design and capital reduction scheme and the business valuation, they are challenges to me. I have to spend more time, follow the examples, and then we'll solve it. Resolve it. So for 15, somebody could be like, okay, I'm not so sure about 15. I can get 9 here. So question 1, the person went for 10. Question 2, all the standards combined, the 35, the person went for 20. Question 4, A, the person says I'm going for 9. So the person has 39. 39, he needs only 11 to pass, to get 50, right? So the question 4, the question could be any of these. So we have to prepare for any of them. Then we go to the last question, question 5, which is below. Question 5, which is below. Question 5, formally, this was 20 marks for the financial statement analysis. But now they brought another theory, this theory. The sustainability reporting from the question 4B, which was 10 marks. The continuation is here, 5 marks, making 15. Right? So that is it. That's it. So now let's see. Question 5. We did several ratios, kinds of ratios. Now we did normal ratios. Yeah, he called them normal ratios. So normal ratios, which are the trend analysis, the horizontal analysis, the trend analysis, the industry. We have trend analysis, we have industry, we have competitor analysis. Very good. Now, these are the normal ones. Most of these questions, they are asked for FR, but for CR are like the advanced or the abnormal ones. So abnormal ones, what do we have? We have, let me see what I wrote. Okay, I wrote them here. We have the acquisition, number 1. Number 2, we have disposal. Number 3, we have discontinued operations. Number 4, we have interim reporting. That's IS 34. Number 5, we have segment reporting, IFRS 8. Number 6, we have cash flow. Number 7, common size. Number 8, sustainability. So these are 8 areas they can ask the question for number 5 from. They can pick question number 5 from. These are the areas. And all these are going along with computation, right? And reports. And he solved several examples with us. All right. Now, those which look alike, those which look alike are 1, 2, 3. These guys are like alike. Acquisition, you are adding. Disposal, you are taking out. Discontinued operation, you are taking out, right? And we have interim reporting, quarterly reporting. You are reporting every quarter. segment reporting. If the business has branches and reporting on each branch, it's a segment of the business. Cash flow, we know the OIF, operating activities, financing and operating activities, investing and financing activities, the OIF. So I'm going to complete on the OIF and talk about them. Then if it is common size, am I going to do horizontal or vertical? Then the sustainability, this non-financial performance. So we have to, if I know that my issue has to do with the 5 segment reporting and as let's say common size and cash flow, these 3 are my issues, I'll go back to the examples he solved, the slides or the notes, look at the example he solved and solve mine and try to pick the understanding, try to generate the understanding. Are we okay? Hello, are we okay? Are we okay?
Yes, please. So,
Okay. So that is basically how we can approach. So it is 15 marks. You'll be like, okay, the segment reporting, maybe I don't get it so much. So I hope they don't bring the, let's say the segment report, I don't get it so much. I hope they don't feature question 5 with segment reporting. If they bring segment reporting, I don't know, maybe I can get 8 or I can score 8. But if they should bring acquisition disposal, they don't know because they are of the same concept. They are of the same concept, right? Scoring, I can get 10 over there or 10 or 12 for if they should bring acquisition, disposal, and discontinued operations. But if they should bring segment reporting and let's say this sustainability thing, we don't have this calculation, I'm not so sure I can do well there, right? So if you have all these on the fingertips, you can easily tell your strength and weakness areas, right? Your strength or your strong and weakness areas. In the event the question should feature, which we will not hope that the question should feature from there, because if it features from any of the struggling or weakness areas, we'll struggle. Therefore, we would hope that it would emerge from our strength areas in order for us to be able to pass well. I get it. So if you have this comprehension with you, you would know where to improve the most. Are we okay? You know where to improve. Okay. All right. So that's out of the way. Let me know from all that we have discussed so far, where do you think we've spoken about the, let me open to a page where I can write. So that at least I can be scheduling some time for us to solve some few questions. Okay, let me write here. So 1, we've spoken about question 1. We've spoken about the consolidation. Consolidation, we spoke about I think 6 areas. Question 2, standards, right? Fully standards. Question 3A has standards. Question 3B has theories. Question 4A has standards. Sorry, question 4A might be standards or business valuation and co. So business valuation, what's the name? Capital reduction, reconstruction. Question 5. Then question 4B has standards. Question 4B has standards. Then question 5A has the financial statement analysis. Then question 5B has theories. So question 5B here and here, they go together. So whatever I'm reading in question 3, question 3B, the continuation goes into question 5B, which is 15 marks. All right. So please, considering this place, where in particular do you have a challenge? Then I'll see how, whether I can offer some time and help maybe during the week or something. And when I'm to help, I'm only going to enlighten also or highlight on strategies to approach the question. Just strategies, because we don't know how the questions will be set, but then how you approach it could even help you do something. Are you getting it? So when it's like this, let's go this way. Just use this. This how self solved it. So we can go by this, we can go by that. Then we get if you understand or comprehend the approach, that's very okay. The approach, because texts are marked or texts are given or awarded to any entries you make, right? So the approach would attract more text so that we will not, leave more blanks, let's say, or we may not be able to do certain things. All right. So please, where among the areas listed, where do any of you or do any of us have challenges with? Then we'll see how we can fix it. Are we all okay? So let's assume it's consolidation, right? I'll take time, then we'll pick one of the questions you solved or a different past question, then we'll see, right? And as maybe I want to solve, before let's say I solve it, I'll bring all the consolidation, which I solved the task together, and tell the differences, how to, if it's like this, the only difference is this and this and this. If it's like this, the difference is this and this and this, right? So if it's like that, we go by this way, we go by this way, how to quickly get the information, then we move on. If it's a standard, we'll bring some of the questions I solved, or let's say a past question, then devise a strategy. The whole thing is the strategy is to get it done. I get it, because for me, there are some we can easily score the marks, but there are others where it will be very challenging to get the marks because the requirements or the technicalities might be so much, and we don't have time to sit and think for a long time before we can answer. We have to think quickly and move on. All right. So, and if it's the capital reduction, business valuation, if we have any issue, or we can look at it again, and then you develop strategies to approach it. Right? Let's say, let me go and solve the business valuation again. Okay, when it's like this, I have to do it this way. When it's like this, in addition to what he has taught, when I see it, I have to go this way, I have to do this, I have to do this way, right? To enable us move quicker. So from all the questions we've seen, we can easily tell our strong areas and our weak areas. All right, we can easily tell our strong areas and our weak areas, so that having acknowledged our weak areas, we will take time and improve upon it. Right. Okay. So is there that's what I wanted us to discuss. And so, like for me today, what I didn't go to work. So what I did was I was revising the capital scheme. One of the reasons why we cannot have the class is because I have a lot of videos I haven't watched because of my engagement, right? So as we speak, I have about 5 videos I haven't watched. Today I watched 2, and I'm left with about 5 to complete. So if I should come and let's say have a class with you, maybe you want a newer video which he has uploaded, which I haven't watched, I cannot come and speak on it until I've watched it. And as we speak, I have 5 videos I haven't even watched yet, right? For that reason, we couldn't be having the online classes. So I suggested that if someone could have made it possible, then the person would organize the class, and others who already will join. I get it. Now we're standing. We will still see. So this one, it's really good since we're having about a month to exam, so that we can know our weak areas, our strong areas, getting to know or understand that all these areas have been covered, right? And there are possible areas or there are possible topics under them where the questions can emerge from. Are we good? So anything to be said? Any remarks?
Hello. So please,
Yeah,
you mean
madam.
that today we will not solve any question?
Oh, what question do you want us to solve?
I thought maybe we take one console question and then we all try and share our ideas.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Okay, so let's Which past question do you recommend? Because mostly, if we have to solve a console question, what I must do is I have to have the question and solve it, right? And look at the examiners. Let's say I have to solve it and understand the treatment, because some of the treatment they are very easy to, guess them right. For example, if it's a PURP, provision for unrealized profit, if it's like this, we don't know the treatment. But the other places where they'll be technical, so I have to maybe first solve them, and if I have a different approach to get some answers, and it's quite easier than what the examiner has used in the solution, then I'll bring in mine. I hope I'm making sense. Hello?
Please, so let's all bring our ideas, please. We beg you.
Okay. So what do you think? What do you think? Oh, the others are busy. They are not saying anything. Uh, is it Madam Emilia, Linda, Zul, Tassicius? Okay. So if there are no comments, I think like I've suggested, we can, you see, the examples they solved it, they are all past questions. So we have to spend time and resolve them, because that is like you solve two different questions. You just need to know the approach. How should I approach this in the event they feature in the exam, or similar treatment, similar clauses, similar um, footnote items appear in the exam or feature in the exam questions. How should I approach them? That's the reason why we have to solve it like multiple times to get acquainted with the treatments, right? There was one, let's say there was a PURP, they sold to this, they sold to this. So if they sold to this, how did the lecturer treat it? If the parent sells to the how does he treat it? If the successor sells to the parent, how does he treat it? Are you getting it? So those are the reasons. These are some of the reasons why we need to solve it like multiple times to understand the treatment of the, let's say, the adjustment, right? The adjustment, because in the exams we don't have so much time to think aloud or think for a long time how to go about this very adjustment or footnote item. We have to move very quickly, right? So when we solve the same or about three questions repeatedly, they all have different treatments, or they all have different adjustments to be learned. And when I learned of the adjustments, I become very confident that whenever I see this adjustment anywhere, I know how to treat it. Are we okay? Are we okay?
Yeah, so
Okay. So please, let's go by the format. The format is, for me, as I've always said, the format is the APO. The format tells what is coming, what we should anticipate, right? Although there are no specifics like this question will be here, this how to say, but the format gives you a guide as to which questions will emerge. Then you can be able to make your estimates all across board. Now, in fact, looking at the weight of these CR questions, I'm giving myself like my highest would be like 52, right? Because if you estimate so high, you may go on for. So if it's 52, then you may grade them. Question one is 20 marks. I'm aiming for about 10. Question two, all the standards are 35. So the 35, let me go for 20. So I have 30 out of, and I have 20 to spare, right? I have 20 to work on to obtain. So the 20 will be coming from the business valuation and the theories and the financial statement analysis. So as you get the 20 there added to my 30, I'm good to go. I'm 50 out, right? So by analyzing the format in this manner, you're able to understand which areas you can do better, which areas you need to improve, which areas you need to work harder or just add a little attachment to it. That's all. Then we go for the paper. Are we okay? So let me bring a question. Please, has anyone shared a question in the group? Let me see if I can get a CR question. Let me see. Then I will tell how we go about the approach. The approach is very, very necessary. Okay, so let me get a CR question. Please, if anyone has a copy, kindly forward it to the group. Okay, let me get a question on it. I mean, the question of a past diet. A moment. All right, so let me get the question here. I think Sir Steve shared something. Let me get that. Okay, these are past questions. But does anyone have, let's say, a past question? A booklet in particular? I wanted to upload it on the screen and oh. Okay, hold on.
This one, if you click on the link, won't it open?
Yeah, but on my tablet I cannot. What's the name? I cannot share the screen of the link on my tablet unless I upload the document.
Oh, okay.
So a moment. Yeah, let me get some. Let me send it from my phone. Oh, I don't have any past question here. Hold on. Let me go online.
Please, I've shared the November one.
Okay, great. Thanks. Okay, so let's see. So let's assume we've been presented our papers and we are to write, we will be given 15 minutes to preview, right? The question paper before we actually start work in when it's at, I think the exact time. If it's 9 a.m., 8:45, we will review it. And then by 9 a.m., that's after 15 minutes, we'll commence the work. So within the 15 minutes, this is what I do, or I will do. Within the 15 minutes I've been asked to review, I want to read all these guys here. I'm not interested, right? But then, look at this one. This one, there are 3. So what do you think will come to mind? Let me see if you can get it. There are three. So what do you think comes to mind? Okay. So let's do it this way. So there are three, right? It means that I've not seen, I only compare the standard. It means that these three, one of them is a subsidiary. The name here is Odupon, so this is the parent. This might be a subsidiary. This might be an associate. Are you getting it? Or this might be a sub-subsidiary. So between it being a sub-subsidiary and an associate, one of them will work. So if it's an associate, I'll quickly know how to deal with this NIFA, right? If it's a sub-subsidiary, I'll treat it like a subsidiary. Are you getting it? So I'm not even reading through. I'm just trying to inspect which areas will make my work very easy for me. So if within the 15 minutes, I wouldn't spend time reading all this because this will take my time. I'll not read. I'll just look at the companies here. Then my assumption will be this one particular will be sub or SS or an AS associate, right? The next thing afterward is that I'll come to the requirement. The requirement is very, very necessary. The requirement here. If we can solve the question, it is here. So after noticing what is up there, all this, I don't, within the 15, I'm not going to read this. Where I'm going to read is the requirements. That's what prepare consolidated P&L and OCI for the year ended for DuPont Group. Explain with suitable calculations how the sale of the 8% interest in Bekum should be dealt with, right? So here, is it N to C, non-control to control, or a control to control, right? If 8% has been disposed of, how do we treat it? It's a theory, plus 15, making 20 marks. So we remember that from the format, question 1 was console. So it is console. And there were theories under. So the theories are for the 5 marks, right? So within the 15 minutes, I'm not going to read the whole passage. All I'm going to read is the requirement. The requirement is where pick my interest, not the entire document, because I have just 15 minutes. The next one, question 2. Question 2. All this I'll not read them because I don't have time. This is where I need. Yeah. Now it says IAS 36, impairment of assets. Impairment of assets. So this question is on the IAS 36 standard. Then I'll read the other requirements. Okay. So IAS 36. If I have a fair idea about IAS 36, I'll know what to expect in the question. Right? All right. Fair value, less cost to sell, value in use. Maybe those, I'll be searching for some key terms there. When I come to the B, all this I won't read. I'll come to the requirements. In accordance with IFRS 13, fair value measurement, this is level 3 standard. I said, this one is level 2. ISS is level 2. Right? Fair value measurement. So when it's fair value measurement, what is the approach? That's the main thing. Because if you know, maybe we've revised it, we've devised and we've understood the fair value measurements approach. Now, what should go into it in helping me to compute? In other words, having seen that it's a fair value measurement question. Hold on. Having seen that it's a fair value measurement question, it should tell me, and I understand fair value measurement very well. I've solved sales example, read the theories. I would have some expectations, some figures, which immediately I go to the case study, I'm going to pick up from. I'm expecting them to be there. Although my work, my finance may not be correct, but my ability to pick values and compute something, I can get here 4 out of 6. Because the one who scores all gets 6/6. So I'm not going to score all. I'm aiming for about 4 out of 6 from the question 2B. I guess, and they're all standard. So, and he says that level 3 standards, you have to master all. And it's a level 3 standard, fair value measurement, and it's 6 marks. Therefore, I have to study so well and know some technical areas. If I'm approaching the question and it's fair value measurement, what do I need? Right? And that's what I need to complete the fair value measurement. They should be in the case study. So immediately I go to the case study, if it's a formula work, I see the formula. There's no formula. I'm going to pick the values I know to work with. If I don't know, I may leave you out. If I know these are the figures I'm expecting, and I make some adjustments, I may not get all the 6 because of the time to think it's not present. But then 4 or 3 to 4 out of 6, I may score that mark. So please, the requirements first. The C also, the 2C. All that passage, there's plenty grammar. It doesn't make any sense to me. Within the first 15 minutes to review, these don't make any sense to me. because I want to know which ones I'll solve first. I want to know what I'll do, my strategies to be adopted to solve the question. So the 4C, I have this. Is IS 37. That's FR standard, not the level 3. Provisions, contingent liabilities, and contingent assets for the environmental liability, 4 marks. So here, when it's provisions, contingent liabilities, what should I be looking out for, right? And what are some discuss accounting treatments? So here, I might first start with the recognition criteria. How do you determine whether it's a contingent liability, whether it's a contingent asset? Then, so the 4 marks, I may get 2 to 3 out of 4. So my 4 there, let's assume I got 4 there, plus 2, I get 6/10. Right? That's how it should go. So please, the requirement first. And he said the standards, we should learn all the level 3 because they can ask questions on all the 3. So we've seen level 3 standard IFRS 17. Right? And now there's another level 3 standards here. Share-based payments. Right? It's down here. Share-based payments, another standard. And what's the requirement? Now, going to that is to discriminate between market conditions and non-market conditions. So here, no computation, just theory. I get it. So we're able to market and non-markets. I have to read the theories on this and we'll find out what it is. And that is 4 marks. So 2 marks here, 2 marks there, 4 marks. All right. So let's move on to the next. Question 3. Question 3 to what we learned was that there was a standard. Remember the standard is 35 marks. So here, 7. It says revenue from contract with customer. Question 3 had 10 on the standards and 10 on theories. So revenue from contract with customer. This is also FR standard. FR standard. They are testing on all of them, right? Revenue from contract with customers. In accordance with FRS 2, this demonstrate how Globe should account for revenue. So if it's revenue from contract with customers, the first question will be like, what do I need? I think it's consider, right? So if I have an acronym for this one, consider, identify whether a contract exists, identify the separate legal obligation, distribute whatever, allocate them, and then revenue, estimate the revenue. So, for example, assuming I'm to solve this question, and I say IFRS 15, I have an acronym for the recognition, how to recognize it, how to do the computation. So, and I carve the acronym consider. I'll just write consider against it, right? I'm not going to solve it yet because I've not read the entire case study, but then I've written a short acronym which can remind me, consider, right? So when I start to solve it, then I go into the case study. I'm going to search for values, what goes into the contract. Was there a contract? Was there a contract? That's the first one. Separate legal obligations between the client and the organization. Was there a separate legal obligation? Then the A, allocates the purchase consideration, whatever, right? That's all. So that is an approach as to how we can go about such question. If you read the requirements first, then we go to the B. It says explain with an example an insurance contract at IFRS 17. This is another standard. This is also level 2 standard, IFRS 17. Okay. So if we're able to get the requirements right, and the question 3 from the format, we realize that all these questions were 10 marks from the format, the theory, sustainability, right? So you can see here, sustainability. So there's no way the ICA will set questions which are far from the format they've given. No. It will just be in line with the format. So we have to master how to go about the format. And we hope that we all do well with it. Now the 3B, I let us explain the sustainability disclosure faced by Gold Board. Apply the relevant requirement of this. Then recommend practical steps Gold Board should take. That's also 2 marks. So all this 10 marks. Then plus the standards 10, 20. Very good. So they all follow the format. They all follow the format. Let's look at the last one, question 4. If I'm within the 15 minutes, all these guys, I'll not read them. All these plenty things, I don't have the time to read them yet. Right? Additional information, I'll not even read them. But within the 15 minutes, I'm looking at which ones I can easily start with, which ones, I mean, if I start with this one first, what is the next one? I will now be marking them down, right? I'll come and read what is here. Prepare a capital reduction account. Okay, so the question 4, where we had capital reduction, we had business valuation, we had what? External reorganization, and we have capital reconstruction. Capital reconstruction. All these 4, they chose to ask capital reduction. Question 4. So prepare a capital reduction account for Burudia, right? Burudia. Okay, Burudia. And prepare a revised statement of financial position for Burudia, like we did 15 marks. So here, what should be the approach? We have to devise an approach. Okay, so let me give a short account. When I was studying, when I was revising it, as I said, I'm unable to join the live session. I only watch the videos afterward, right? So for example, I'll first begin with what? Statement. I want to know, despite whatever the situation of the organization is, under the capital reduction, whatever the situation of the organization is, all that I want to know is, I want to know that, one, will the business liquidate? Is the business in a position to liquidate, or can it become a going concern? These two. Because if it's a going concern, then I can make a decision on, let us keep it. If it's a liquidation, we can make a decision, let's just shut it down, right? Okay. So with these two, I know that the first one, I'm going to prepare what? Statement of liquidation. On the liquidation, then what goes under the statement of liquidation? I'm going to know all my assets, add all my assets, and less all my liabilities. That's all, to give me the statement of liquidation. Then when I come to the going concern also, right, I'm going to add all my liabilities, right, at the reconstruction values, or the fair values, or market values, or revaluation values. So the going concern, I'm going to put another statement. Statement of, I can say statement of reconstruction. I get it. Statement of reconstruction. Or statement of maximum loss. Yeah, statement of maximum loss. And there, I'm going to look at my revaluation amount against my current values in the statement. Then I'll find the maximum loss, right? Then when I finish, I'll compare the total maximum loss with the total liquidated loss. Are you getting it? Then, so this is step 1, this is step 2. Then I go to step 3. Step 3 will be that I'll share the loss. So share the loss, right? Then the step 4, where do I get money to pay the losses? Then the step 5 will be the notes, the comments you write on them. Then the last step, which is the step 6, will be the financial position. So assuming I have this understanding down, immediately I see capital reduction, I'll start writing them. Number 1, statement of this. Number 2, I've not even started working, but I'll write them down. Number 2, the going concern or statement of maximum loss. I'm going to compare the two. After that, I'll share the loss from 2. And number 4, when I share the loss from 2, where do I get money to pay them? Or how do I make the payments? And number 5, I'll write down the notes or the comment. Number 6, it is the last question here. So assuming, or if I have this knowledge in mind, right? If I were to solve this question, the first one I'll solve is question 4, this one. Because I'll write the steps against it. Then go and finish all the requirements. I've not even read the details there. All that I've just done is written my format down, what I'm going to look on to prepare whatever is here. So immediately I jump into the case study, all the long processes, what I'm searching for are what information will go into the center of liquidation, right? I have to know what are the assets, are their liquidation values. Then I'll get them, I'll compute them, go and take out all my liabilities, right? The liabilities, the 7 of them, take them out. Then I go to the going concern. That's how we have to go by it, because we don't have time. So if I were to solve this question, I'll first solve 15. Question 15, because I'll write all the steps down. Then I'll move on to the next. When I come to start, solving this question, I'll be reading the case study, searching for information to fit into my format. That's what I need. If there's an adjustment which is so difficult for me, I'll find a way to do it and move on, because there's no time, right? That's why it's necessary, hence the need to understand or read the requirement first. Because even though I've not even started, I still have written down my strategy to approach the question. The last one, the question 5. Is it question 5? Okay, so this is question 4. We are saying question 4. So requirements. It says what? Advice or decree on the proposed accounting treatment of the contingent payments. So this is IFRS 37. Provisions, IS 37. Provisions, contingent liabilities and contingent liabilities. Provisions, right? Contingent liabilities and contingent. So this is the same thing. There's a standard. So this adds up to the 35% of all standards. Question 4B, the 5% here, 5 marks, is on the standards. Okay. So let's see the next one. Then we end our session. If there will be any. Okay, question 5. So let's see. Question 5 is a lot. Okay. So here too, I'll not read so many of these. I'll just come here. Here. This is where the whole work is. So compute the following ratios at the end of the year after excluding. So if it's excluding, it means one, it could be, it's not an acquisition. Out of the 8 or 9 cash state of financial, it's not acquisition. It could be a disposal. It could be a discontinued operation. Can be one of these. So because I've followed Seth's example, how to treat disposal and discontinued operations, immediately I have these two down. I know how to start with it. First, I have to find the total ratios for all the total, right? Then second, I have to find ratios on the disposal. It says after excluding the disposal. So recompute the following ratios for the year ended after excluding, right? The effects of Indar Limited. So I must first find, from what he said, first find the total ratios when they were together. Then the exclusion analysis or separate analysis. So I have to compute for these guys, following the ratios giving me here. Okay, they are already giving me here, right? So if I understand that for the disposal, it also applies to acquisition. For the acquisition, disposal, and acquisition, I must first find the total before the exclusion analysis. But if it's acquisition, the inclusion analysis, right? If I have these two in mind, later I see this question, I know what I'm going to start with. Hence, we have to know for all of them and see the way forward. Now, the last part says, as a final result of the group, write a report to the board to evaluate the financial 9 marks. I good. 9 marks. So we also spoke about how to approach the reports. I think the last time we had a class, I gave an acronym that, let's say we have the report to, from, subject, dates. Then we have the introduction. Now, I'm using red. Let me use red. Then we have the content, the body here. Then we have the conclusion. Then we have the signature here. Let's say something like this I sign. Now, my concern is these two here. When it comes to the body, right? It says, as a financial result, we write a report to the board to evaluate the financial and non-financial performance, so sustainability, meaning sustainability reporting. For the year ended, relative to the comparative year, using the metrics in note 2. Where is note 2? Okay, maybe it's ahead. And or is the previous page. And the computed ratios in I1 above. Your analysis should clearly highlight how the acquisition of NAR Limited has affected Pampa. Okay, so this acquisition, right? Because the exclusion analysis has to do with acquisition, disposal, discontinued operation, the 3 of them. We use the exclusion analysis here. So what do? When I come to the body here, I'm going with the acronym ECOC. Please pay attention. I'm writing the report, right? So from here, from the required ratios here, I have to know from which category of ratio. There are 5 categories of ratio, right? We have the profitability, liquidity, solvency or gearing, investment, and there is the efficiency. So here, right? All right. So we can go with PLESI, right? PLESI could be an acronym, PLESI. Profitability, liquidity, efficiency. S is solvency or gearing, the I, investment. So the PLESI. So out of the PLESI, these four, on which I'm to write a report on, I have to be able to determine or identify that each of these ratios or some of these ratios are coming from a particular category of ratio. For example, operating profit margin, right? Where is it? Which category of ratio is that? It's profitability. Return on capital employed, profitability. Return on equity, profitability. Debt to equity, solvency. So of all the ratios they want me to write the report on with their comparative information, 3 of the specific ratios are all from profitability. Then the last one is from debt, is from solvency. So now, if I'm writing my reports, I'm using blue. If I'm writing my reports, I'm going to use the acronym ECOC. So 1, the body, I'm talking about the body. The introduction is very easy to write. This report is whatever, and covers whatever financial performance and ratio. Okay. So after that, I come to the body. The body, I'm going to write on only 2 ratios, this and that. And for the 9 marks. So I will write here profitability. After writing profitability, I'm going to apply the ECOC is that explain what profitability means. Comments on the factors, right? Comment on the trend. Let me put it that way, right? Comment on the trend. So if it is an exclusion analysis, and it says I should concentrate on the comparative year, how the NADA also has effect on Pampers Limited before and after, right? So I have to comment on the trend, stating the figures, finding differences, right? And the last C, right, is to comment on the factors. So the first CO is what? The first is to explain the profitability. What does it mean? Whatever. What does it mean to the business to analyze profitability ratios? And I comment the trend. Comment on what trend? The trends of these 3: operating profits, return on capital, and return on equity. I'm commenting on all the trends there. Then when I come to the last C, I'm going to talk about the factors causing the trend to change. Please, are we okay? Are we okay?
Yes, sir. We are following.
Okay.
Please, for me, I'm okay.
Okay, that's fine. So the ECOC is a rule which we can use. Now, right, so when I'm commenting on all the trend, like if it's operating margin, right, that's operating profit margin, or if it's operating margin, talking about let's say sales over, is it cost of sales over sales, or sales over whichever the formula is, the ECOC will guide me to write detailing on them. But because after explaining what profitability is, right, to help in the business analysis or ratio analysis, the comment is the trend. When I pick operating margin, what is the trend? This year, what did they do? What did this and that? And then how it's when the business was in without when formally the Inda Limited hasn't been acquired, what was the ratio? After it was acquired, what was the group ratio? And when it was excluded, what was the ratio? Right? That's the trend. So here I'm asked about 3 or 4 trends together. When I pick the return on capital employed, before Nda was acquired, what was Pampers rules? When Nda was acquired and included in the ratio as a group, what was the ratio? Now, when it was excluded for the new year, what was the ratio? Then I'll comment on them. Then the last is the factors. Which factors contributed to the changes? Then, if I'm commenting on profitability, we should simply know what goes into profitability ratio. How does the business arrive at a profit? It is the revenue, then the costs. Because the P&L statement, like let me write here Alice. Alice here is what? Assets, liability, income, capital or equity, and expenses. And out of these 5 elements of the financial statement, the I and the E, which is the income and expenses, they are used to prepare P&L. So if I'm writing on profitability, I'm just going to consider on all income or revenues and expenses. So profitability is basically talking about income and expenses which are affecting their financial performance. That is the profitability of the organization. So what will cause the rows to change and increase here and change to increase here? I'll be looking at the income and expenses of the financial statement, the trend of the income and expenses. It was high here, it was low here, right? If it's operating profit margin, I have to go into, it's a profit related matter. So I'll go to the gross profits, I'll go to the other expenses, the interest expense, all of those issues which can cause a profit to go down or high. Revenue, did the business make any purchases? If they make more purchases, it means that depreciation also increase. It's So everything which will go into profitability is about income and expenses, and from the P&L, right? And some cases, I'll go for some information from financial position, especially with the column of loans and debentures, because they can increase the finance costs. So that's the trend we compare. Then when you're commenting on the factors, that's what I just explained. We look at the factors leading to profitability, which are income and expenses. So I'll be looking at the income values, revenue values, other income which came in, and all of those can increase the profitability of the organization. That is it. I'm using green. So that's this profitability is under this, and I'll speak on all these three under profitability. When it comes to debt to equity ratio, that's the next paragraph. So debt, that's solvency, debt to equity ratio. What proportion of debt makes up our equity? I've computed them. I'll speak about them before acquisition, during acquisition, and excluded, or when it was disposed of, or when it's excluded, right? What is the trend with the analysis? It went here from here, it changed to this year when this was excluded. If this is excluded, this is the ratio, this is the then having gotten the before acquisition, at acquisition and post acquisition, right? Or post acquisition or post exclusion, or those three figures or those three values, I can give comments with regarding the factors leading to those changes. So it applies to all of them. It applies to all of the ECOG applies to all of them. Explain the profitability, comment on the trend, even if there are four, comment on all the trends. Then when it comes to the commenting of that, we comment on the factors causing the changes in between the trends, which can lead to the trend. They are the figures on the financial statement. Please, are we okay?
Yes, please.
All right. So we'll end the class here since so that we can continue with our studies. If there are no hello. Did someone want to say something? Okay. So if there are no concerns or anything for us to address, we will end here. So as I've said, the question 5, they took it from acquisition. So we should go through the slides, the note on the financial statement analysis and pick the question he solve the same thing. Then maybe if there's any explanation, we can offer them to enlighten us, right? Maybe send it to the group or we'll see how to assist. Then we solve the same question and look at the way he approached the question. When it was like this, he did it this way. When it's like this. So it means that whenever I see this same narration, these same footnotes, this same question, this is how I should do it. This is how I should treat it. This is how I should treat it. That's all. Please, are we okay?
Yes, please.
Right. So thanks for your time. If there are no, or if there's nothing to say, or if there's no concern, if there are no contributions, then we will end the class.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
Right. Thanks. Welcome.
Thank
Okay.
you. God bless you.